not here to sit there and start crying and be like, my life sucks.
Right.
I was on my own a lot. My dad had to work a lot, pay the bills, pay the rent. He had a note, which is really odd to me that I feel like I remember the words very vividly. My dad's like, sorry to inform you that your wife/mother did not make it.
Look, moving divinity, shedding off the ego. I took off all my jewelry. The gimmicks that they do for attention, they've been moving me. The foolery they caught up in, I caught my second win and went the distance. Ain't no calling quits. Usually, hobby with a homicides is regular. This one's for the dealers who touch tickets and still peddling. Coonery at an all-time high. Hobby with a felon's live. Everybody wanna be a killer when we need more men. Took my pen back into them nights when I prayed for the fame, not knowing I was naive.
Welcome back to Talk With Tay. Today's episode is very special, man. I got my first guest on the show, a good friend of mine, and I just want to introduce him to the world. Vic, what's up, man?
How you doing, Tay?
Appreciate you coming in, bro. Like, I really, based on that last conversation we had, that small conversation last time we talked to each other, bro. I just want to say thank you because you helped me realize something, and I just want to say thank you for coming on, bro. So welcome.
Thanks for having me. Like I told you that day after our game, I saw you posted the video, and I was like, yo, you got a podcast now? Like,
Yeah.
what is this about? All I did was click play, and then I saw it, and then I was like, wait, what is this about? Then I went onto your Instagram, saw you had other videos, and then the one that I saw that you had pinned on your profile was about your mom. So I was like, yo, got a lot of respect for you creating this podcast, coming out, just talking about how you feel and what you're going through. So I just, like I said, I have a lot of respect for that, and like a role model, man. Honestly,
Man, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Like I really do appreciate it, man. That means so much to me. I titled this episode "Different Paths, Shared Grief."
Mm.
The reason why is because when you experience something like this, right? Grief,
Yeah.
especially losing a parent, oftentimes you feel like you're the only one dealing with that shit. Like,
Yeah.
and that's insane to say, right? But
Yeah.
that's how it feels most of the times. I know that's how it felt for me, and I've talked to other people, and they feel the same way. But when you around, when life is continuing, and you around things, baseball, work, whatever, like no, you never really know what somebody's going through. You know what I mean? Like people show their emotions so many different ways, and I know for me, I've been struggling, bro. Like I've been struggling real hard because of the simple fact, again, I think I'm the only one that's going through this, but everybody is going through something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm always mindful of that, just in that perspective, but like sometimes I can be zoned out to where, I'm not myself, right?
Yeah.
And I know people see it, but it's like I don't even have nothing to give to that part. Like I don't even, it's just a constant battle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why, I named that because, we got a lot to talk about. Just to give y'all a quick, just background on how me and Vic met. We met, we were signed to the same pro baseball team, and, we just, all of those guys, man, shout out to all them dudes, man. They're my guys for sure, man. But yeah, man, we were signed to the same pro baseball team, and we share a lot in common. We here, to chase this opportunity to play ball, just continue to chase that dream. And during this time, at the time, I'm finally starting to process my mother's death, because right after she passed away, my life just started back, the same routine. I was back in school, I was back playing ball and whatever, distracting myself kind of, right? But it was at this time, when I met y'all, when I met you, is when I started to process everything that was happening, right? And it put me in a dark place, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I never had time to just sit within myself. Like I'm always doing something. I moved away for school 2 weeks after my mom passed, like to a whole different state. So I ain't had time to even think about it. All I was doing is just crying and, just going through those motions. So, when I met you and when I met, when we was spring training, whatever the season started, it was, yeah, bro, I was dark. I was dark. I don't know if you noticed, but I wasn't much of a talker, like
Oh,
early
I
on.
I noticed. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did notice. I noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that be killing me, bro, because I'll be like, man, people that know me know that I'm not like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But then when I get around a new environment, I'm just like mute. And I'm like, man, I don't want these dudes thinking like, it's always that in the back of your
Yeah.
head, like, man, they probably think I'm weird or they
Yeah.
probably think I
Yeah.
don't fuck with them or something like that. But that's never the case. But it's so hard to explain that early on
Yeah.
because you're just dealing with so much, man.
Mhm.
And as you know, for personal reasons, it continued to get worse, and I stepped away.
Yeah.
As you know, at the time, you were away dealing with your injury, the
Mhm.
rehab and stuff.
Yeah.
So you didn't really know. I mean, you knew, but like you didn't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody really knew what was going on. Me and shout out to Ace,
Mhm.
we had our differences or whatever. It was just a misunderstanding at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but that wasn't the main reason why I stepped away. It was mentally, I was just like, nah, bro, I'm done. Like this shit is all hitting me at once. I'm trying to play. I don't really got the motivation, right? So,
Yeah.
and then we reconnected. And bro, when you told me, when you shared what you shared with me,
Yeah.
about you experiencing the loss of your mother at that time when we had that conversation not too long ago, I was just like, man, I seen you handle that so well daily, right? And we're gonna get
Mhm.
into your story shortly, but I seen you show up every day, bro, and
Mhm.
I would have never thought, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in that space. I'm thinking like, man, nobody know what this feels like. That's
Yeah.
just me
Yeah.
being angry, me being emotional, and I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I got to be the only one dealing with this right now. Because when you're around people, you listen, right? You observe, you hear people say, I'm going to call my mom or my
Mm.
mom coming down here, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, damn, bro, I really gotta master this really well. But
Mhm.
when we had that conversation, I was like, damn, that's all I could say because I'm handling it my way, right? And I see you show up, you all smiles, you all positive. That's
Mhm.
just who you are, bro. You a
Yeah.
good dude, right? But on the field too, you all smiles. You just having fun. I'm just like thinking about it now. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, how's he doing that shit?
Yeah.
So yeah, bro. I want to thank you for that conversation.
Yeah.
And I was hesitant to ask you about coming on the show just because, you know, certain people may not be comfortable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I know a lot of people say, I look like I'm holding it well, like holding it
Mhm.
all together, but I'm not.
No.
You know what I mean? And I got tired one day, and I was just like, I need to talk about it. So yeah, bro. Bro, I appreciate you
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure, bro. So um, I want to get into a little bit about your experience. If you want to start fresh, tell everybody about your loss, like at
Okay.
the early stages, initially, like how did it all happen?
Yeah. So it all started about I was maybe, and this is gonna sound crazy. I think I was between 5 or 6 years old. Yeah. So uh, it didn't really. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm a kid. So if you ever see a little 5, 6 year old,
Mm-hmm.
that's how old I was, right? Um, it didn't really hit me till I started realizing. So I'm the youngest of three. Shout out to my siblings, my brother and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
My sister is 2 years older than me, and then my brother is 2 years older than her. So we're 4 years apart. But me and her, my sister and I went to the same K through 8. And I just remember at one point, I was just like, why are we talking to this lady all the time,
Mm.
And it was, from what I remember, and I could be wrong, I might have to ask her again to confirm this, but it was always around Mother's Day. That day, when I was a kid, man, I hated Mother's Day. I mean, you're in school, you know how they say, "Oh, make something for, mom, make something for
Mm-hmm.
dad," and I just remembered, always angry, right? Because I
Yeah.
didn't have a mom to make something for. So I always remember my teacher one time. She had asked me like, "Hey, why aren't you making anything?" And I just looked at her and was like, "Just don't talk to me," kind of thing. I was trying to ignore her, and she just kept pushing at it and like, just poking at it like,
Yep.
"Why aren't you making it? Just make
Mhm.
something for your mom. She'll love it." And I was just like, I just don't want to. And then she was like, "But why? But why?" And I was just like, I looked at her. I was like, I don't. I just didn't know how to say it, right? Like, I don't have a
Yeah.
mom. And she just kept asking and asking. And then finally, I like snapped, and I was like, I don't have a mom. And then I just started crying. And she was like, "Holy crap!" And it was in front of the whole classroom. So you're a kid, and
Yeah.
you start crying in front of the classroom, and you're just like embarrassed and all this and that. And then I think that's kind of when it started. When I told her that, I'm pretty sure went to like the principal, told her about that situation, and then brought my sister in. So we always talked to this lady. I can't remember her name, but she was cool.
Mhm.
We would get. I always remember she would always give us like these gift cards to the Payless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
get free shoes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I remember doing that, and then it. I felt like as I got older, it just kept, in a way, like getting worse. Right. I kept thinking about her more, and what sucks about it too is that the more I try to think about her, the less that I actually know about her. So, one way I explain to people, or at least like my family, they ask me like, "What do you remember about her?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "There's really nothing to remember."
Mm.
Uh, there is one memory that I do have, and it's pretty vivid, and for some reason, I don't know why I remember this, but I remember just like playing around, and then I was trying to do like the farting noises. So like,
Yeah.
let's say this is her stomach.
Mhm.
I was doing farting noises on her stomach, and that's pretty much it. That's all I
Yeah.
remember. The way I explain to people is, um, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us have gone through this, is you meet like that family friend or a long lost relative, I guess you can say,
Yeah.
where they come up to you like, "Oh, do you remember me? I used to change your diapers."
Mhm.
And you look at
Yeah.
them in the eye and say,
I don't know who the hell you
"I
is.
don't know who you are."
Yeah.
That's how it is for
Mhm.
me. I remember my brother and I had a conversation before I left, and he had asked me like, "Hey, do you, by any chance, do you know what my?" Because when you lose somebody, like he says that he can smell her, right? When
Mm.
you lose someone that you know that you're really close to, you can smell them when they're gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And a lot of people would say like, "Oh, that's because she's like, it would be her, whoever it is, like they're near you, they're around you, they're protecting you."
Mhm.
So he asked me like, "Do you know what she smells like?" And I'm like, "Dude, I have no idea." Like I mean, you could put like five different smells, and if one of those is hers, I
Mhm.
won't know. Another thing too that um in college when I started talking more about it, it would break me down the fact that I don't know what her voice sounds like unless I watch a recording, you know. Um, I never got to hold her hand, you know. I never got to hug her, never got to laugh with her. Um, I don't I don't know what it's like to get a kiss from her. So, but it's good. It's good that um the more I talk about it, the more I can talk about it and not break down so easily.
Yeah.
So, I remember that lady that I had mentioned, I always remember her saying like, "Hey, just, I know it's hard to talk about it, but just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Mhm.
It's gonna help you in the long term. You're a kid now. You're not gonna remember probably any of this, but just talk about her. Talk about her. Uh, it's gonna be the best thing possible." So that's why I told you I had a lot of respect for you making this podcast, because you're opening up, you're vulnerable, and it's like the best thing to do, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, just growing up was tough. It was hard. There's days where I just wanted to talk to her,
Yeah.
right? I just wanted to have a conversation, and it just sinks in, like reality kicks in, right? She's not here. She's
Mm-hmm.
gone.
Yep.
I know, well, physically she's gone, but spiritually I know she's with me. Like I told you, she's got the best seat in the house. It's right here. She's in my heart all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, when I got to high school, it was around the time my siblings moved out. I was on my own a lot. My dad had to work a lot, you know, pay the bills, pay the rent. And so I had a lot of time with myself of just sitting there, just trying to think about her. And I just couldn't think of anything except that one memory.
Yeah.
Right. And from high school, it was just something that I was like, you know what? Why sit here and just dwell on the pain and just why sit here and be sad about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what can I do to get rid of all these emotions? What can I do to get rid of all this stress, this anxiety, or whatever it is that I'm feeling? And then it finally clicked, and I was like, it's baseball. It's playing ball.
Yeah.
And like I said to you that day, I just started playing every game like with a lot of emotion behind it, you know. I'm not the biggest, strongest guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only like 150 pounds. Been that way since high school. But I will say that every time I am running with emotion. So all that pain, whatever it is I feel, that's what I'm using to get down the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
I see ball and dirt, I'm gone.
Yeah.
One, because I practice it, but I'm running with emotion. When I throw the ball, it's with emotion. When I swing the bat, it's with emotion. I mean, I just play the game with so much emotion that became my therapy.
Mm-hmm.
That's baseball is my therapist. I don't have to talk to anybody sometimes.
Yeah.
I just let it out with my game. Right?
Facts. I feel you.
So that's what happened. And ever since then, it's just, I feel so great. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, I show up and I'm always happy, and because I'm in therapy. You know, I'm at the game, I'm at the field, I'm at the ball field, and I'm with people around me, right? I'm not here to sit there and start crying and be like, my life sucks, you know.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm going through so much. We're all going through something, like you said, you know, we're all
Yeah.
going through something. So why not make it a memorable day, you know? Make it
Mm-hmm.
fun. Do something that, I don't know, someone's gonna remember 10 years from now. Like for example, you you pitched the game for us and got drilled in the leg
Oh yeah.
twice. Yeah, at Marysville.
Yep.
And I remembered you were just like you're in pain, but you're like, just give me the ball. And you're
Yeah.
just back on the mound.
After
and you
that
started
second
shoving.
time, after that second time, I'm like, man, fuck this.
Yeah.
I ain't going out like this, man. I'm like,
So like,
yeah,
things like that, right? Like
right.
those little things. So, yeah, I just play the game with the emotion, but I've learned to control it now.
Mm-hmm.
When I played Little League, I wasn't able to control it. So every time I struck out, they didn't get on base, I'd cry
Yeah.
because of frustration, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my friends would make fun of me about it. And I'm like, whatever, it's cool.
Right.
I'm not tripping. You know, I'll make fun of them too. But they didn't know that I was playing with emotion behind that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was playing, in a way, I was playing for my mom, right? Playing for everybody, but I know that she was always watching me and she was always there for me. I mean, the life that I have right now is because of her and because of God. I mean,
Absolutely.
both of them together, that's the best. It's the best duo that I know right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've been looking out for me, and she's brought in people into my life that I'm so grateful for. I mean, and I've told this to many people. Um, I don't even know where I'd be at if it wasn't for baseball and the
Yeah.
people that I've met through baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I could damn near be locked up. I could be dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
But baseball got me out of it. So
It's a special bond, man. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is about a sport, but like you said, you met so
Mhm.
many people through this game, bro, and that's one of
Yeah.
the reasons that I keep pursuing the game, right? And I've
Mm.
always wanted to because those memories and those moments, bro, it's like I've played every sport, right?
Yeah.
I even played football in college, and it's nothing like baseball.
Yeah.
Like that bond, it's just with the game and just with the people that you meet throughout the game. So that's, man, bro. Like, my respect for you has grown even more, bro. Like,
Mm.
just in these last few minutes, because like I said, when you told me that, when I first, when we first reconnected a little bit not too long ago, I'm like, man, I would have never known that. And
Mhm.
always seen the tattoo that you have on your
Yeah, this
forearm,
one
and
right
you
here.
told me this is, yeah, and I'm like,
This one right here.
yeah, and I'm like, man. And like I said, I always seen how you carried yourself, right?
Yeah.
You real sharp, man. You real disciplined. You real, you just on point, and you play the game so well. You a dog, like, but your emotion, like, through the game is so just high.
Yeah.
I used to just look like, man. And you noticed that about a few people, right? But it was
Mhm.
just, just something about you that I noticed, and I'm just like, me being not much of a talker, but
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
still observed a lot of things. So, man, again, bro, I'm sorry for your loss again. I'm probably
Yeah.
tell you this a million times, bro, because
Yeah.
that's a lot, man. I
Yeah.
lost my mom at 24 years old, man, and to hear you say that you went through that as a
Yeah.
young kid, like 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
Soon as you said that, I instantly went back to a time where I was 5, 6 years old, and I
Mhm.
remember this one time. I grew up in the projects. A
Yeah.
lot of shit going on in the house. I'm the youngest of 9. A lot of
Mhm.
people in the house. A lot of shit going on, right? I remember there's a time my pops, he came over and they got to arguing and shit, and she just left, and I cried for all night. She left and didn't come back for like 2 days.
Damn.
And I was just crying, like, just all the time. And I was just wondering when she was coming back. And my brothers and everybody said, she gonna be back. Don't, they shut up. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like, nah, like, where is she at?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm
All
just
worried.
thinking, like, if I would have, like, I couldn't imagine losing her that early
Yeah.
and not knowing, like you said, not being able to experience, a hug, a kiss, those early childhood, elementary, middle, high school, so many things,
Mhm.
that you experience as you grow up. And I sit here, bro, and I'm like, again, you never know what somebody else's experience is like.
Mhm.
So to hear you talk about that now, bro, it's like, it's kind of like full circle for me, bro. Cause I'm like, in many ways, I was selfish,
Yeah.
you know, uh, when we first joined the team, or whatever, cause I would just be going through my own shit, right? Not talking, cause most of the time I didn't have nothing to say. And
Mm.
I would try to force myself to talk. I mean, I talked to you before. I talked to, all them
Yeah,
dudes.
yeah.
We be shagging, bullshitting around, all that. But like, instantly something to hit me, and I just go back into that hole. So it's just like,
Yeah, and it's tough to get out of it. I mean, once you're in it, you don't realize it, but you're
mm-hmm,
kind of numb to it, right?
yep,
You're just kind of like, I think I got it figured out. But one thing I've also learned too is um, we don't really notice our own body language, but others do.
mm,
And
mm-hmm,
that's the other thing that I didn't realize was a lot of people always tell me like, why are you so serious? Like, why are you so quiet? And
yeah,
well, I'm quiet because first of all, I don't really, like it's a new environment. I don't
yeah,
know everybody. I
right,
don't know what kind of jokes I can make. So
mm-hmm.
yeah,
You got to
I'm
feel everything
yeah,
out
yeah,
first.
yeah. You can't just say
You can't
something.
just come out swinging like that, because people,
Yeah.
yeah, that can go bad. Like
Yeah.
it,
Like if you would have said something and I'd have been like, yo mama, like, you know what I mean? That would have
you
instantly
feel me?
some would have happened, right?
Something would have
So
been some tension, like, it
yeah.
just because of, just the natural, like. So yeah, I definitely feel that.
So
Yeah.
that's why I understood. I mean, you're
Mhm.
quiet. I thought from when I first met you, you were just getting to know everybody.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm the same way too.
Yeah.
I was just fortunate though that some of the guys that are on the team I've already known.
Right. Cause
So
y'all play. Yeah.
it was a little
Yep.
bit more easier for me to kind of just be a little bit more me,
Mhm.
who I am.
Yep.
Uh, but I would say though, I'm very much like how you were. I'd be
Mhm.
quiet. After, a couple days or so, I start opening up here and there, but I wouldn't definitely be the one thing I won't go around saying is like, hey guys, I don't have a mom. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Nah.
Guys, guys would make jokes and, you know, like, your mama type of thing. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yo mama. And like,
Mhm.
you know, because they don't know. So it's like, why should I get mad about that? You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also, you know, we're on the field, we're saying things, we're gonna make fun of each other and stuff. Not saying we always do talk about like moms or whatever, but
Yeah. It's free kill. Yeah.
once in a while, someone's gonna say something and it's not serious, right?
Yeah,
Like
so you have to be able to
yeah,
understand that, and
and
that's
I,
one thing that I've been able to do a little bit well because I've heard the mama jokes,
yeah,
"I
yeah,
your
yeah,
mama
yeah,
did
yeah,
this," and I'm like, I laugh because I'm like, damn, like that's it's funny, you know, like I said, it's free
yeah,
kill, like it's all jokes and fun and shit, but
exactly.
then you step away from it, and you like it's making
Damn,
you think about your mom for real. So
yeah,
yeah, that's the hard part about it.
yeah, and I've also learned to, you know, I do like to joke a lot and
Yeah.
I like to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned to just separate the two, you know. If I'm gonna say something to somebody and I'm gonna say a joke and I'm gonna receive one back. So I gotta be sure, like,
Yeah,
okay, I gotta
you got to be able to take it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
you got to be able
if
to
I'm
take
gonna
it.
give it, I gotta, you know. So I've learned to just have fun, like
Hmm.
enjoy it. Now if I start to feel like it's starting to get really personal, then
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, hey, like let's get cut it
Yeah,
out, cut it out.
it's a
That's not
line. It's definitely a line
yeah.
that
Huge
you can't cross.
difference.
Yeah,
Huge
so
difference between
yeah,
joking and then getting serious. Like,
yeah,
you can start to notice a difference.
yep,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
but nah, man, I just want to give a shout out to all of the people that have helped me. I mean, for example, I mean, I want to give a shout out to Mama Sochi. That's my buddy's mom.
Hmm.
The Garcia family.
Shout out to Mama Sochi, Garcia
They
family.
they helped me through high school, man. Like
Hmm.
they were there for me. One of the people though, for real, that actually was like my first, I would say like role model and really pushed me was, well, I did cross country for 3 years, right?
Hmm.
Coach Ramos, uh, that guy taught me a lot. I mean, that guy's like my uncle.
Yeah.
And what he taught me was, you know, seeing the good side in people and those that really want to help are going to
Hmm.
help.
Hmm.
And after him, that's where the Garcia family came in. My buddy Chewy got really close with him. His family kind of just adopted me in a way, you
Yeah.
know, just every time I'd hang out with them when we'd go out and about and they see family, you know, so she would be the first one to be like, oh, you know, I got my kids with me. I got her daughter, her son, and then she would say me, her son, you know,
Mm, yeah.
started calling me her son.
Hmm.
And that's when I started to be like, oh, it's kind of nice. It's got a nice ring to
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah. Makes you feel
And
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then from her, you know, the Egan family, you know, Uncle Mike, Big Mike, Mia, um, Jenny and Monique, and Lily, you know, I lived with them for 3 years in college.
Hmm.
Um, they took me in. They were, I mean, some people kind of see it as my host family, like they kind of like, but they're family for sure now.
Yeah.
They took me in. Um, Mia was also the one that, you know, she's a mother figure to me. You know, oh, and her mom, Serafina, man, the talks that we had were just so deep. Like that's another person. Shout out to Serafina.
Shout out to Serafina.
Uh, man, she opened my mind a lot.
Yeah.
I opened my eyes, and every time I talk to her, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little scared sometimes because I'm like, I don't know what I should say because you know I don't want to get in trouble type
Hmm.
of thing. And I was like, damn, is this what it feels like to be afraid of my mom
Cause
type
you
of thing?
don't,
So
yeah, cause you don't,
there's like these little things,
man.
man, these little things that I never really got to fully experience. So
Yeah.
with them, that's what I felt. Also to Nat, um, you know, she took me in during the summers. I lived with her. I mean, she didn't let me. I sometimes I would try to help, you know, a little bit, just
Hmm.
clean the dishes. She would like yell at me, like, "Hey, you drop that dish now!" And I'm like, still washing it, and
Yeah.
I'm like trying to push the line a little bit. She's like, "I'm being serious." I'm like, "All right, all right," and I'll clean
Yeah.
it, put it away. I'm like, "All right, I don't want to get yelled at now." And then that I would go to my, you know, I would step away, and then as I'm stepping away, I would be like, "Is that what it feels like
Mm.
to kind of get yelled at?" You know, like even though maybe she was serious, maybe she's not, but for me, it was like, "Is that what it feels like?
Yeah,
Is that
cause you
is
don't
that?"
really know. Like
Yeah,
you
I don't
trying to,
know. And then each time I gotta give her a hug, you know, when I'd say goodbye or good morning or something.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Tamia and Sochi. Every time I see them, it's just like that hug, you know. It's just like it's comforting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing I do try to do as well is I go see my buddies, like my best friends that I grew up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see them and their mom, I just take 5 minutes to just talk to them, you know? Hey,
Yep.
how you doing? Take a
Mm-hmm.
seat. And sometimes my buddies are like, hey, come on, bro. Like, and it's funny. It sounds kind of messed up, but I mean, they're not wrong, but they're like, hey, you're here with me. Like, you're not here for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, give me 5 minutes, bro. Like, just chill.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just have a conversation. And then um, it turns from just the two of us. And then my buddy would come over and just start
Mm-hmm.
talking. And then I'm just like, And then sometimes I do it to kind of um, just start like a conversation. And then, you know, parents kind of open up a little bit more to friends.
Yeah, they do.
And so
They do.
sometimes my buddy was like, hey, try to see what you can get out of, you know, my mom
Mm-hmm.
today or my dad or something. I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
So it's like some things like that, you know, it's the little things that we do, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just those conversations that you kind of start to realize and appreciate, right? And
Yeah.
it's something that I try to do on a consistent basis. Cause like I said, you know, I didn't have that. So
Yeah.
every time I see them, give my full attention to them, 100%. It's also what my dad and my grandma taught me, right?
Mm-hmm.
They always told me respect your elders, you know, give them your full attention. And my dad engraved that in me, but I think my grandma was the one that really. That's where it kind of was like, she's an elder, like she's an elder, right? So
Yeah.
she's a top dog, and so you know, with my family, I was always taught to respect them, you know, respect
Mm-hmm.
your parents, but also, you know, your parents' parents, or like your grandpa, grandma.
Right.
And so that's why I do what I do. I mean, it's all thanks to them, to my family, everybody that's helped me. Um, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for my family and the people that I've met, right? Whether it's
Mhm.
baseball or not baseball
Yeah.
or outside of baseball, right? So everybody that's like in my circle, I guess you would want to say,
Mm-hmm.
like if you were to meet my friends, you would see why I am the way I am,
Yeah.
right? I got a lot of other traits that I have now is because of them. I got it from them. Always willing to help. Hey, you need something? Like, I'm here for you. Like, hey, I need a ride. Bet, where you at? I'm there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm there, type of thing,
That's
right?
how I am too. Yeah. I get that.
So that's why I am the way I am, is because of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I look for the little things in people that show me they're actually there for me, right?
Yeah.
They're not just here to be here. They're here to help. They're here to be with you, not just around you, kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, and honestly, I also think about moments like when I have a lot of time to myself, I just sit there and I'm like, what kind of person would I really be if my mom was here? You know, what kind of life would I be or have? You know,
Yeah.
what kind of person would I be? Where would I be if my mom was here? You know what I'm saying? Would I still be the same person?
Mm-hmm.
Would my experiences still be the same? What about the people that I've met? Right? Even if it's just you, like,
Right.
would we have ever met? Kind of thing. Like, would
Yeah.
I even be here in this podcast? You know, it's just so
Mhm.
many questions that,
So many things. It's unknown.
yeah, sometimes I'll think about it. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather leave those unanswered and just live with this life right here.
Mm.
I really love my life right now, man. Like, if I don't knock on wood, but you know, if something were to
Yeah.
happen and today was it, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
I'd be smiling. I'd be smiling, walking up to the gates of heaven and be like,
Mm-hmm.
I lived a good life. I did, you know, maybe I'm only 26, so I only lived 26 years, but God, they taught me a lot. I learned a lot, met a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say I have a happy life. And the two main reasons, like I mentioned, are my mom and God. I
Yep.
mean, I didn't really start getting into the whole like reading the Bible and really putting my faith into God until I came out here. But you know, shout out to my girlfriend Sabrina,
Mm-hmm.
who's also the athletic trainer who helped me get back onto my pro baseball journey. Those 2 weeks that I spent with her was it was tough physically because yeah, my leg was hurting, and I would be honest, she made me cry because
Yeah.
that was painful. It was super painful, but
Yeah, that rehab
um,
something else, man.
yeah, it was even leading everything leading up to me leaving
Mhm.
was just put your faith in the Lord, right?
Yep.
And I've always heard it. I've seen it, but I finally took that step and decided to, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna put it all in, my
Mhm.
whole and I'm smiling because it's like so happy.
Yeah. I'm happy for you, bro.
Damn.
I'm happy for you, bro. It's that gratitude, man. Just being thankful for the moment, bro. You said something. You said you didn't really get into like
Hmm.
actually reading the Bible until you got out here.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I'm literally the same way, bro.
Mm.
Like I would always try to read the Bible, but I knew I had faith,
Yeah.
instilled in me, and that came from my mother. But
Hmm.
for some reason, when I came out here,
Bro.
like
Same
I
here.
bought a Bible as soon as I came. I ordered off Amazon, bro. Like I've never.
Yeah.
And I grew up around a lot of people that were in the church. My
Hmm.
granddaddy was a pastor. My dad was a pastor later in life, but I didn't really. We'll talk about that later. I ain't really like church. I ain't like church
Mm.
people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would always talk to God, but like you said, when I came out here, man, I don't. It was something in me that was like, I need to read the Bible,
Yeah.
and I just started reading it well, since May, I've I make it a goal of mine just to read some scriptures every day of
Yeah.
like how I'm feeling. So that's crazy that you say that. Like
Yeah.
that was the first time, you just started reading it once you got out here,
Hmm.
to play ball. And I'm literally doing the same thing, bro. That right there just confirms that this was supposed to happen, bro. Like I
Yeah.
was meant to meet you like this, I was meant to leave, step away from the game and find my
Yeah.
way back. And man, it's like a surreal moment, bro.
Yeah, it is. Oh, you just saying that you said your mom was also into or
She wasn't heavy into the church, but she's the one who instilled that faith, that grind, like
mm,
don't give up, like
okay.
ever. Like, you know
Okay,
what I
good.
mean? So that's where like I get it. I get a lot of that from like my strength, I would say,
Yeah.
because my mom, she had a hard life. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mhm.
She made a lot of decisions early on that affected her,
Yeah.
later in life. Her health was never up to par. I
Yeah.
watched her suffer a lot throughout my life, but I watched her fight too. And that's
Mhm.
what was like, man, if she can do it, like I believe her when she tell me like don't give up. You want to do it, go ahead. Like, and
Yeah.
she would tell me that all the time, bro. I would call her crying in college and shit because I ain't had no money or nothing. She couldn't send me nothing. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
hungry. I
yeah.
gotta go to practice. Nobody know. You feel me? It's hard
Yeah.
to just pour all your problems on to
Exactly.
everybody, bro. Because there's somebody here who probably have it worse than you. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like,
And that's the thing about a lot too.
yeah, like I probably, I was saying like, man, I ain't got no food in 2 days. Like I played JUCO. I know you played JUCO too. So
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know about that JUCO grind. It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
man, look, it was tough. And there was a lot of times where, bro, I would just have to be on an empty stomach, and have nothing, right? And I
Yeah.
would just call her like, man, I don't want to do this, like I don't, this ain't working out. But
Yeah.
looking back, it was working out. I was there in the moment. I was playing. I was going to school, and she just told me like to, nah, you're not giving up. I ain't letting you do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she wanted better for me always, and that's just something that sticks with me to this day, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you just never know what somebody has to sacrifice to do something. Like coming out to, like Dublin, for example, right? Right,
Yeah.
bro. I got a lot of responsibilities back home, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a
Same.
grown man. You feel me? I'm the same age as you, but like,
Yeah.
I gotta pay rent. You feel me? It's so many things that come into place, but
Yeah.
it's just like a sacrifice because you really want to do this, right? It won't
Mhm.
matter after you get out here, you know what I mean? But you're thinking about all the things that and obviously at this level, you're not playing for much money, if not, if any at all, right? So
Yeah.
you got to look at that too. But it's just like, man, it's just like that push to just keep going, bro. It still lives in me. Like and just showing up. Like I applaud myself for showing up, even though when I was
Yeah.
around, I ain't had much to say. Like you said, you spoke on something earlier about body language, right?
Mhm.
I knew people was watching me, right?
Yeah.
You around a team, bro. You
Mhm.
feel me? You got to work out, you got to stretch, all that. I know people seeing this, right? But I'm just like, man, I hope it's, I hope like people's judgment, affects me because I want to be a good. I've always been a good teammate. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't never had no character issues in any team I've been with, right?
Mhm.
But now it's like, oh man, they probably think I'm one of the dickhead, the dickhead people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we've all experienced, that type of guy in the
Yeah.
clubhouse, right? So it was that part that was like, man, I just hope, I started praying. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
I hope they don't think, I hope they don't think I'm on that because I'm really not. Like you feel me? I like all of these dudes. Like these dudes cool as hell. But I'm gonna touch on that a little bit in a minute. I wanted to ask you something.
Mhm.
Um, what was it? What was it like for you? Being 5, 6 years old, and you saying that you knew that the family always had to talk to this lady, which was your mother, right?
Mhm.
And Mother's Day was always hard because
Oh, yeah.
seeing everything, like what was that like, seeing your family go through that? Like what did you notice? Like how was it those early stages leading up to, like, take me through that, like from 5 to 6 years old, like to high school. Like how did you, in the early stages, how did you initially see it? Like how did you see people handle their emotions, your father, your siblings, like just the family, like, and how confusing was that for you, like
Oh,
growing
yeah.
up?
I'd say it was tough, man. It was one of those things where, I mean, it wasn't really talked about.
Mm,
It was kinda tough to talk about.
yeah,
Um, I do remember there was days where my dad would just put some music on, like some of his songs,
yeah.
sometimes songs that him and my mom would listen to,
Mhm,
and he'd just sit there and listen to them.
mm,
Um, I mean, yeah, sometimes it would hit so hard, like, yeah, he would I mean, I wouldn't and he never got crazy with it too, like, he was able to control it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, he would drink
yeah,
some beers with sometimes, other times he would just sit there.
mm,
Like, I'm talking about just sit there. And this is when it was just me and my dad living at the
yeah,
apartment, right?
right, right.
My grandma did live with us, but she would go back and forth, to TJ.
Mhm,
So, it was the days where it was just me and him. I would just hear it. He'd have it on the laptop and just sit there and just literally listen. He'd sing to it sometimes, like, he'd just sing the lyrics, but I would just sometimes I gotta go get water, and I would just, like, kinda watch what he's doing, like,
just like kind of
what is he
peep around and
doing? Yeah, like,
see,
what is he
yeah.
doing? Dude, I'm telling you, like, he's just sometimes he would just sit there, and he's just drinking, you know?
Mm,
Sometimes it was a beer, sometimes it was just the water, or sometimes it was just there,
yeah,
just listening, and I started asking him, after a while, like, "Hey, what do you listen to?" "Oh, it's a song your mom and I listen to." And I was like, "Damn." And so I was like, "Is this, like, one of your, favorite memories or something?" And then he just started talking about her.
yeah,
Um, I noticed that with him, the more he talked about her, the less emotion there was, but the less emotion in the fact where he didn't initially just start crying, right?
yeah.
There was more happiness behind it. There was more, um, like, great memories were just coming back, right?
Mhm,
Just seeing him talking about it made him there's, like, like how someone smiles, like, on a daily, but then there's that one thing they think about,
it
and
just
it's like
triggers him, yeah.
there's, like, a different smile, like a happier, more a smile you just never seen before, right?
Mhm,
And those were the smiles that I always liked seeing on my dad's face, because he's always working. That's where I get my hard work from is my dad, right? He's still working to this day.
yeah.
Uh, He's as old as the Super Bowl, so whatever Super Bowl we're in, which I lost track of, but
I lost
he's
track too, I don't
yeah,
even,
whatever
yeah.
Super Bowl he is, that's how old he is, but still working and he's always giving everything he has for us, right? But it was just for him. I noticed at the beginning was just it was tough for him to talk about,
Mhm.
especially with us, right? Because we were so little. Now that we're getting older, it's like it's something we need to start talking about, right? And
Mhm.
so that's what I started to notice. The more I talked to him about it, the more he'd talk about it, and like that smile, man, like that smile that he has is just is different. And I try to get that smile out sometimes as much as I can,
Yeah.
just so I could see that happiness again, you know? Because I know it's been a long time since he's been, and I know he's been happy and he's pretty cool. He's kind of like me, I guess. Always
Yeah.
likes to crack jokes.
Mhm.
Um,
Shout out to Pops, man.
yeah,
Shout out to Pops.
he's always trying to tell jokes, man. So he's
Mhm.
like the one that's like the jokes. But just seeing that smile is just a whole different, in my eyes, is just a whole different experience to me. So I never got to see him smile that way,
Mm.
right? When she was around. So that's kind of my glimpse
Mm.
of what it'd be like having her around, type of thing, you know? So with the rest of my family too, yeah, man, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's definitely a hard subject to talk about. So it's I would say it's more like try to keep it to a minimum, because then it does become, it gets hard to get out of it. Like, you know how you said, like you get into like that I
That
don't want to say
whole
like the hole and
yeah.
like a dark place. Not saying that we get into a dark place, but sometimes I notice that it does get a little awkward, and then
Mhm.
it's kind of like, you know, it's very sad. So it's to even to this day, it's still a little hard. I'll ask questions like, "Hey, what did my mom like to do?" And this and that. They're a lot more open now than back when it had first started, right?
Yeah.
When it had first started, it was tough. You know, you bring it up, and it was just like initial, just
It's
instant.
emotion like
Yeah,
instantly.
at least for me too.
Man, it sounds like, man, shout out to your pops, man, for real.
Yeah.
Cause, I can imagine losing a wife is probably similar to losing like a mother, of,
Hmm.
a parent, you know. Yeah, man. Shout out to him. Was there ever okay, let me rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't mind,
Yeah.
how did your mom pass? And do you remember the funeral? Or do you remember that, those times of like the
Yeah.
news of like, okay,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
how it
like,
happened? Yeah.
yeah, do you
So
remember any of that? And if so, like, what was that like just being 5, 6 years old and just seeing that, but
yeah,
you can't process
understand it.
because
Yeah.
your brain is undeveloped a little bit at
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was that like for you?
Oh, so for my understanding, what I've been told, and you know, my dad is the one that I would ask
Yeah.
to confirm it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and there's another thing too that I didn't start to realize is the older you get, the more you have to start asking these questions,
Yep.
because your physicals, right? When you're playing sports,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna ask, and there's a one question that says, "Did anybody pass away or die before the age of like, was it like 40 or something like that,
Yeah,
or
it's a lot of
something?"
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
predetermined
Like
like
family
health
history.
history.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I have to put yeah on that one, because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was younger
Yep.
than 40 when she, I think she was close to her 30s or something,
Yeah.
around there. I don't know exactly how old she was, but definitely before her 35.
Oh wow.
Unless I could be wrong and I have to confirm with the family,
But
but
right around that
around there,
age,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so when I put yeah, I have to ask my dad like, hey, the doctor wants to know, or the guy that I'm with wants to know what happened, because you know I have to put yeah, and it's my mom. So he's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, and it had to happen almost like once a year, or oh, you know, it
Right, because
became recently.
yeah.
It became like a consistent thing. So from my understanding was that she developed some sort of like tumor in her brain,
Mm.
and so I guess the two options were leave it and it's gonna affect her, and then eventually she is gonna go. You know, she's gonna pass,
Yeah.
or we can do the surgery to try to remove it, but you know,
It's
there's gonna be
complications.
complications or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, see, that's the part I don't remember exactly what my dad said. I just remember him saying that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
she did have a brain tumor or whatever. It
Okay.
affected her. she got really sick, and then I just remember one day we were sitting down. This is when we were living in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even mention that. I was born in TJ,
Right.
but
Yeah.
we moved to LA,
Okay.
and when we moved to LA, this is kind of when it all went down. So I just remembered we were sitting in the living room, and then my dad just had a note, and this is what I remember, right? So
Yeah.
I'd have to ask my siblings or my
Mm-hmm.
family, my dad, what happened. But
Yeah.
I remember he had a note, and then I'm sitting. I don't know if it was my aunt or my uncle's lap, but I'm sitting on their lap, and then my dad's just reading, which is really odd to me that I feel like I remember the words very vividly. My dad's like, "Dear uh, Ceniceros family, whatever. Uh, Sorry to inform you that your wife slash mother did not make it, so she has passed." And I'm just sitting there like looking around at everybody, right? And I just remember looking at everybody like, someone gonna break this down for me? Like,
Like, what does
I'm
that
only 5,
mean?
6 years old,
Yeah.
right? So, and as soon as my dad said that, he just he like broke down, and I just remembered. This is the part I don't remember is my aunt or uncle just hugged me,
Mm.
and I was just like, "Oh, cool, it's a hug." So I just remember doing this, and I just remember hearing all this like crying, like it's just like it just couldn't hold it,
Yeah.
and I was just sitting there on their lap, and I'm just like, "Why are we crying?" Like, you know, I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
I just want to run around.
You're just a kid. You can't.
So yeah, it's just I just remembered. That's what I remembered,
Uh-huh.
and that's the memory that I have of him reading the card saying that my mom passed, and
So
I
was this
mean
card like from like a hospital or
I think
like?
so or something
Yeah.
like. I just
Okay.
remember it
Okay.
was like he had something in his hands
Right.
and he
Right.
was reading it, and
Okay.
to me it looked like a card.
Yeah.
So that's why that's my memory.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
Um, Now the whole now when it came to the funeral, that's the part. Oh, that's the other memory that I have. And I've had dreams about it sometimes too. And I'd wake up and my eyes are just, my eyes are so dry because of how much crying that I did.
Yeah.
All the tears dried up. But
Mm-hmm.
I just remembered, um, like it was like, and this I think if I remember correctly, it was at my uncle's church. I just remember like there was like a coffin,
Yeah.
but that's all I saw. It's just the coffin, just like the side view of it. I didn't see the inside. It was just the side. And I just remembered pictures being played in the background. And I remembered someone saying, "Yo, he's too young to see this. He shouldn't be allowed in here," or something like that. And keep in mind, like I grew up in Spanish, so everything was in Spanish, right? So that's what I
Right.
remembered. So
Okay. Okay.
it was in Spanish, like, "Yo, he shouldn't be in here. Like he's too young for this." Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I also don't remember, but I know someone was holding me, and all I remember is they're walking away, and I'm just my arms out, and I'm just yelling at my mom to wake up. I'm just like, "Wake up!" And I'm just reaching out for her, and like I'm yelling.
Yeah.
And when I have that dream, I just wake up. I just see like the doorway. It turns white, and I just wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's all right. I gotta let it out. But
Is this your
yeah.
like first time like really sharing this with many people
This
or?
detailed, this
Yeah.
like this very detailed.
Yeah.
Like yes and no.
Yes
Like
and no.
I've gotten pretty detailed, but that specific memory, no, I haven't shared it, but I have to. If it ain't you and if it ain't this podcast,
Right.
it's got to be shared, right? I gotta let that emotion out. Like I said, it's like, and I've been told many times, and I told other people, just if you're talking about it and you get emotional, it's fine. It's okay.
Mhm.
We're gonna be emotional. We're gonna get emotional, but just learn to let it out. You know,
Yeah.
that's the best therapy possible. I've told my brother this too when we had the conversation between him and I. I just told him, dude, if you gotta cry, just cry, man. Like,
Mhm.
I know we live in a world where you gotta be a man, and
Yeah.
men hide their feelings. Don't cry in front of people. But damn, when it's with things like this, there's
Yeah,
just no
bro.
letting that in, man. You just gotta let it out.
You gotta let it out.
You gotta let it out one way or the other. Either you talk about it and let it out, or if you go to the gym, work it out. But you gotta let it out somehow. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like this detailed and sharing that memory. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, it's the first time I've done that. But like I said, I have to. I have to let it out somehow. So, and I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that's gonna watch this.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Damn, I have something similar to that," or
Mhm.
"Yo, like I know what he's going through," type of thing, right? Or they know what we're going through. The whole
Yeah.
grieving.
Yeah.
So,
Nah,
but
bro.
yeah,
I
that's
appreciate you
that's what I
sharing that,
remember.
bro.
Yeah.
That's deep. I often find myself, whenever I do vent or open
Mm-hmm.
up that space to talk about my mom, and I'm pretty sure you could probably relate to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I often tell different stories whenever, like, each time that I'm sharing, because like
Mm-hmm.
you forget a lot of things, man, and
Yeah.
the story can go one way, and then you talk to someone else, you start remembering things. So like, I appreciate you sharing that, because especially being that young too, bro. Like you said,
Yeah.
you don't remember a lot of things. So I can only imagine how tough that is, being 20 years later, bro, and you still trying to you have to, you relive those moments, and you still trying to remember things, and you want to remember things, and it's been 2 years for me, bro, and I still struggle with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when people, try to ask me things, it's like after I'm done talking, I'm like, man, I should have talked about that, because that's what I really want to talk about, right? But
Yeah.
it's just in the moment, you just talking, you just trying to let it out, you trying to see if this is like a safe space, but you don't really
Yeah.
know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's just like, man, it's always a different emotion. Like every time you think about, your mom, or you tell a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's not even, it's a million emotions at once, right? Because it's like so many things that you feel each time you tell the story,
Yeah.
or just simply share, talk about it. So that's like, man, that's
Yeah.
deep, bro. I'm glad you sharing that, bro, because
Yeah.
like you said, bro, it's a lot of people who deal with this, and it's like it seems uncommon for people to talk about,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I didn't really know that was a thing until
Exactly.
before I started the show. I would post videos on TikTok, right? Just because I got tired of holding it in. I need to let it out. I needed an
Yeah.
outlet, right? And so many people were coming to me saying like, "Oh man, I deal with this exact same thing." Like, and I'm like, why nobody talking about this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Exactly.
it's like a hidden type of topic.
Yeah.
Like grief is hard, man, and everybody, we all have to deal with it, right? But it's just like, man, I'm glad I was, able, to start this, because
Mm.
it helps me understand people more. It helps me understand you more. Like I said, when we first met, we were unaware of
Yeah.
where we came from, and that's just normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as time go on, I remember too, man. I remember when I posted my mom for her birthday. You were one of the people
No.
who
Yeah.
slid up, said happy birthday to the queen. She'll always live with you. And I was anybody that sends me something, like when I'm going through that, because I post about my mom a lot. Like
Yeah.
I never forget it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got 1,000 people watching my story, maybe 50 people send something, if that. And I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
throwing numbers out there, right?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
very, most people don't know how that feel, or
Mm-hmm.
most people won't simply just, have a caring heart and show some love. Maybe they're going through something and they can't, you know what I mean? But that's
Yeah, yeah,
beside
yeah.
the point. But I always remembered that.
Mhm.
And when you know, like I said that night when, you know, we had that conversation, I went back and looked at that shit and it hit me different because
Yeah,
you didn't at the time you didn't like I said you knew then, but I didn't know what you were going through. Like I didn't
yeah,
know that you still, you know, you still trying to navigate through losing your mom at
yeah,
5 years old. So that's yeah, man, that means a lot to me, bro. Like for
yeah.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I
So
mean, yeah, I saw the post. Like I said, I saw the post, saw the videos, and then,
mhm.
I just didn't hear what you said. I listened to what you said.
Yeah.
Um, I remember in one of your videos, you were like, yeah, you're about to just end it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was right there with you, bro. I
Mhm.
mean, I've had that. This happened around the JUCO time,
Yep.
right? And it's not something we all talk about, because we kind of just after that time passes, you're just kind of like, why did I do that? Why did I think about doing that?
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I was there once too. I mean, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. And it's funny you just said that. Like, there's things that we want to talk about that I probably just said.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that know me, I was born in TJ, lived in LA, went to Palm Springs, then San Diego when I was
Mhm.
around second grade, right?
Yeah.
I was around high school senior year, when I was trying to apply to colleges,
Mm.
and I finally had I mean, I wasn't really into like the whole going to college type of thing,
Yeah.
but I was like, well, I want to go play college ball. What I got to do?
Mhm.
And so that's where, Ramos came in from freshman year all the way to senior year. The dude helped me.
Yeah.
And so I want to give a shout out to Ramos,
Shout out to
like
Ramos.
my uncle told me about community college,
Mm.
right? And then that's when I had to talk to my dad about, hey, I need your help with something. He's like, what's up? I need a social. What's my social? Where's it at?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he's like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to sit down for this one. And he's like, you ain't got one. I said, what you mean? And he's
Mm.
like, we came in with the tourist visa, overstayed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm undocumented. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, like I mentioned earlier, someone's gonna be watching this, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't. I mean, I had role models, but I didn't have role models outside of my family.
Mhm.
Ramos was one of them. You know, Ace, obviously, he's
Yep.
definitely another one for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Um, my bad if I didn't say that earlier, but Ace for sure is another role model.
Shout out to Ace, man.
And I just saw everything they were doing, putting in hard work. So I was just like,
Mhm.
I want to play college ball somehow. And yeah, I had a counselor at the high school literally tell me, because I was doing it with her, right? The application. She told me, like, yeah, you need a social security number. I was like, okay, I'll go get it then,
Yeah.
whatever. So I told Ramos about it. He's like, yeah, talk to your dad about it because you're going to need that. I was like, all right, cool. That's when I asked my dad, and he told me the whole thing. Came back the next day and told her, like, hey, so apparently I only have an I-10 number. She looked me in the eyes and said, yeah, I'm not going to help you anymore. I can't help you.
Mm.
And I was just like, really? I was like, all right, cool. And Ramos did everything he could to help me. He's like, dude, just go to the college, ask what you got to do, just to even do the application. I
Yeah.
was like, all right. So I did. And I found out I could still go to school. And the counselor was telling me she couldn't help me. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because
Mhm.
it's like, I'm getting these setbacks, right? My mom
Yeah.
passed away. I'm moving from city to city.
Mhm.
Um, my friends don't know what I'm going through. So it's like my emotions are kind of holding me back a little bit from really being who I want to be
Yeah.
and who I truly am. And then sometimes I don't tell them everything, which is fine. We don't have to say everything, right? We don't have to share everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they don't share everything with me either. So, it goes both ways and I get it.
Always.
But there was all these setbacks, but yet there was always someone there helping me.
Mhm.
And Ramos was one of them. The Garcia family was another. The Egan family is
Mm-hmm.
another. Ace, you know what I mean? So my teammates, all my friends that I grew up with. I grew up in the Barrio Logan area. So, all my friends are in San Diego, you know, all of them. I mean, they've always been there to push me forward, even though I have had these setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I even had a time where, um, when the whole, because I have what's called DACA, the Deferred Action Upon Childhood Arrival.
Yeah.
It's a work permit. You got to
Okay.
renew it every 2 years. Well, technically, you got to it's a renewable work permit, and it's every 2 years, but technically, it's every year and a half
Mm-hmm.
because you have to do it 6 months prior to it expiring, right?
Expiration. Yeah.
So, and it's also not free. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people that I've heard talk about it are like, "Oh, why don't you just get in line and just?" There is no line. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's just, and you have to pay now. The price went up. The fee went up to like 500 something,
Uh-huh.
right? And this fee is like a college fee. If you pay it, like you got to pay it to submit the paperwork only.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the chances of you getting accepted or denied are 50-50. If you get accepted, cool, you're golden. You're going to keep continuing it and continue the process, and then you'll get the card, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get it, it's like, thank you for your money.
It's like you got to wait for that time to roll around again.
So then
to
you
try.
got to retry it. But now it got to the point now where they're not accepting new applications. So if you got it when it was open,
Mm-hmm.
then you're golden as long as you're up to date and renewing it, right?
Yeah.
So that really got me to, get my mind straight. Like, okay, what I got to do. But then when the whole, around the time when Trump came into presidency and he was like, oh, I'm going to cut it, I'm going to end it. That's when it hit me. And around that same time, and I'm bringing this up because around that same time was one of those times where I was just thinking about my mom.
Yeah.
I have so many like random moments, and it's usually like a week long where I kind of just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm just thinking about her and I just want to talk to her, right? I just want to have a conversation with her. Like, hey, I need your help with this. Like, what can I do to get through this and that? Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I love my family. I love my dad and everything, but
yeah,
I want to hear her perspective, like I want to hear her opinion, her side of what she thinks on certain things, right? And that time it hit me and it's like, she's gone, like she's not here. And then that happened and it was just, everything was coming in. I was just like, I think the quickest way to see her is just if I end it,
yeah.
right? That's the best way. Like, I think that's the best option I got right now. I just want to see her. I just want to go see her.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like planning it out and I was thinking about doing it. And like a voice in my head just told me, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, just don't do it. Trust me. Like, literally, those are the exact words. Don't do it. Trust me.
Bro, I'm not lying to you. I literally heard that same thing.
Yeah, dude. Like,
during my time.
I just remember thinking about it like, why not? It's like, I got all this against me. Like, why? Like, why not just do it? And it was just repeating in my head. Don't do it. Trust me.
Do you remember where you were physically? Like where you was at? Like,
yeah, I had taken a walk around the block. It was like 12 o'clock. I probably came back home at like around 3. I was just sitting on the side of the street, like and it was a residential area, right?
Yeah.
Just sitting there, like, just trying to plan it out. Be like, yeah, I'm just probably no one's probably gonna even notice. Like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna notice. No one really, probably no one cares. Everyone's got so much going on in their life. But after I heard that, like, don't do it, trust me, I was like, all right, I'm gonna trust you.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, I think that was like my first sign of, God's watching over me, right?
Yeah.
And my mom was watching over me because she included all these people in my life, And so I was just like, all right, I'm gonna trust that voice in my head. I don't know who that is, but that ain't my voice.
Right.
I know if it's my mom's
You don't
voice,
know who
but
it coming
it's
from,
gotta
but it's
be.
like it was
Yeah,
so powerful over you, like, cause like I said, I had that same experience,
yeah,
bro, and you know, at the time when my mom passed, you know, it was rough with relationships, family,
yeah,
friends. Didn't really have many people in my corner, so it was like shit. If I do, ain't nobody checking on me anyway. Like ain't
hmm,
nobody around. Like
yeah,
don't nobody know that I'm in this moment right now. Don't nobody know I got this gun in my hand. Like nobody, literally nobody knows this, right? I
yeah,
ain't talked to people in days. So
exactly.
if it do happen, oh well. Like that's what I was thinking. Then you know that voice, and I was just like it was just like okay, all right. It held so much power over me. I was like I knew it was coming from, like you said, you don't know whose it is, but it's like see, it's like God or my mom. Like,
Yeah,
and then from that day, I was just like, man. I think back, like, okay, what if what if I did make that decision, right?
yeah,
It probably would have caused a lot, a lot more problems, a lot more pain for other people, right?
exactly.
Because I'm thinking nobody really there for me. At that time, situations, you know, were what they were. With
Hmm,
the because death is not easy. Everybody has to
yeah,
deal with it different ways, and I'm just like, man, I wanted to be with my mom though, like you say, like
yeah,
that's the quickest way for me to
yeah.
go. Like, nah, like I want to go see her. I want to go talk to her. That's
Hmm.
all I could think about, man. And I was just like, okay,
I'm ready.
it's not time yet. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're like, I'm ready
hmm
to see you, but at the same time, it is not your time.
yeah,
It's not your time yet. And the question too that I think about a lot, and
uh-huh,
this it's just started like very recently. Um, when I started, like reading the Bible a little bit more,
hmm
and I was just for some odd reason I started thinking the day that does come, right,
yeah,
and I'm finally up there. For some odd reason, I was asking myself, how will I know who my mom is,
mm,
right? I mean, I've got pictures of her. There's videos of her so I can hear her voice, but for me, it's like I don't have those personal memories. So if you ever think of someone, right? Once you think of someone that you know personally,
yeah,
um, when you hear their name and you hear them, like you having a conversation with them, you can hear their voice, right?
yeah,
You
yep,
could picture their style of clothing, what they're
hmm
wearing. You could picture how they smile. You could picture how they look when they're mad, when they're upset, and everything. Like for me, I don't have any
you
of
don't
that
have that.
at all.
Yeah,
So if you were to put five people in like five ladies in the room, and you tell me one of these is your mom,
like pick one.
I'll look at you and be like, I mean, going based off just the pictures alone from what I have,
Yeah,
those are just pictures from when she was around.
hmm
I don't know how what she look like now, right? Maybe the same, maybe different. I don't know. I really
mm,
don't know.
mm,
But it's just that question just came in, and I was like, how would I know? And I think when I really started asking myself that question is when I was like, all right, yeah, I think I need to start, you know, trying to talk to her a little bit more, trying to
yeah,
get a little bit more into God a little bit more, and that way I don't have that question because it's like, why is that question even coming up? Like,
hmm
it's my mom.
It's your mom. Like
I should be
you
able to
should be able to
know.
know who she
Yeah,
is.
but
Yeah,
that question just came up, and that like I remember I was just driving one day, and I was just driving home, and I heard that, and I just broke down.
hmm
I didn't even go straight home. I took my time to get home because I was like, why is that even a question? And I started thinking about those scenarios. If you put five
Five.
ladies in
Yeah,
the room and tell me that's one of them's your mom,
you wouldn't be able to.
I was starting to question like, how do I know? And it scared me. Like it was frightening me, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? Like, why am I thinking about this? Like, why is this even a thought? And then that kind of like it definitely scared me because I'm like, nah, there's no way I can forget.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm a kid and don't have a memory, like I know I have a strong feeling that I know who it would be,
Yeah.
you know? So that's another thing that also came into my mind that was just I didn't want that in my mind anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that to be gone. Right? I want to get rid of it. And it was just like, what there's just so many different things that are starting to happen like the older you get.
Yeah.
You start to experience different things, but yeah, like I said, like that voice just said, don't do it, trust me.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Like it came back again like a couple of days ago. You know, don't do it, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking about that again, especially after, you know, watching your videos and stuff and all that. I started thinking about my mom and everything that I had been through, right? Everything that I've up to this point. And that's the moment where I was like, that was my turning point in my life
Mm.
was don't do it, trust me. And I just I almost started crying because I was like, I'm so glad I trusted that voice, right?
Right.
You know, it was simple. Don't do it, trust me.
Yeah. Just trust.
All
That's
right, I'll
definitely.
trust you.
Yeah.
I'll trust in you.
Right.
And now here I am. I mean, smiling, you know, cheek to cheek. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can genuinely tell you with everything that has been going on in my life, like, you know, we're always gonna have things going on.
Yeah.
But overall, I have a great life. Um, I don't think I'd change. I wouldn't change a thing, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd love to change the whole, you know,
Change.
losing
Yeah.
my mom thing, but I think about it a lot, and I'm like, I maybe there was a reason behind that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's a whole reason why that happened. Um, I don't know. It could maybe it was a sign like, hey, it was her time. Maybe I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know, but the fact that that happened is why I am the person I am today. You know, and for me, I don't know, and I don't know about you, how you feel about this, but when you know, that phrase, you know, that I love you phrase,
Mm-hmm.
that's big for me. That's I if I'm saying that,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
You mean it.
Mm-hmm. Like I mean it.
Like you know how to love. Like you actually
Yeah.
know how to love
I've
someone.
I've
Yeah.
learned like my family has showed me how like what love is.
Yeah.
Like when I left to Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much support I really have. I didn't realize, you know, what it felt like to be loved, right? And it was
Mm-hmm.
just when I left and came every time I came back, man, it was just I just felt it. It was just like it's a whole different feeling. Like I can't even describe how to it's just weird,
You
but
never understand until you get around other people and
exactly.
they're missing that aspect of life. Like
Yeah,
because my mom loved me so much, it taught me how to, and that just came from one person, and
exactly.
it taught me how to love everybody, bro. Like
Yeah,
if you
so
ever talk to anybody that I've crossed paths with, bro, they gonna say the same thing. Like I make sure people good before I'm good. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean? I just got that love. Like I just can't see nobody. I hate seeing people struggle. I hate seeing people deal with things. You know what I mean? So I'm always thinking I could make a way to make somebody feel better, and that's just
yeah.
who my mom was. And it's crazy, bro, because you man, give me a second, bro. I'm drawing a
Yeah.
blank a little bit.
No, you're good, you're good. Take your time. But I'll just say this,
Yeah.
like my and I would be honest, like with me, my siblings, we never and with my dad, like we never really said it.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that's another thing that I noticed
Yeah.
is with just within the three of us, four of us, me, my brother, yeah, four of us,
Mm-hmm.
we never we never really said I love you. Now I don't know about, you know, everyone's situation, but sometimes it's just thrown around like, all right, I see you, love you, bye.
Yeah.
But I remember one day I just started saying it to my sister.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sis, love you, bye. Like I love you. I remember the first time we said it, we were both like, it felt weird.
Yeah.
It was like a
Yeah.
really weird
Mm-hmm.
feeling. And she like kind of looked at me odd and I was like, you okay? Because, you know, like
Yeah.
siblings, like, you good? Like, you all right?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, yeah, like I love you.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I love you too. And then from then on, we just started saying it more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember one of my favorite memories was with my dad. I took him to the school visit to Oklahoma with me.
Mm-hmm.
So they paid for my ticket, and then we just gathered money to pay for his ticket,
Right.
so he
Okay.
can come with me.
Yep. Official. Yeah.
Because I had already signed and everything, or this was just before I had signed, but I just wanted to see the campus and
Mm-hmm.
everything, right? So
Yeah.
I remember seeing it, and just again that smile. Like my dad was like a little kid. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was more excited than I was. I mean, I was excited, but my dad was. He was a little kid.
That
And
joy. Yeah.
yeah, he was just like, oh my, like his eyes were opening up. Because, he's also never, I don't think he's ever been that far in the US, right? I don't even know how far he's traveled,
Yeah.
but with everything that has gone on in his life, I think that was his first little like mini vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to give that to him, right?
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
I just remember seeing him so happy. And he said, like, I'm proud of you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, with him, it's kind of hard to show emotion, but damn, that is
Take your time, bro.
him him saying that to me. I just gotta get out. I gotta get out. Him saying that to me is like saying, I love you, mom.
Mm-hmm. You good, bro? Let it out.
And that's that phrase fucking kills me. Because like I said,
Take your time, bro.
like I said, I've never had the opportunity to say that.
Yeah.
So to hear my dad say that he's proud,
Mm-hmm.
it's like me saying, I love you, mom.
Yeah.
You know? I've said it to my dad multiple times, and I see it in his eyes, like it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts to say that, like, I love you, because he used to say, he used to say it to his mom, my mom, his wife. That's like his best friend. So, yeah, like sometimes, like I would say, in my hand, I can count how many times he said he's proud of me.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it sucks, but I mean, I get it. Like it's like he grew up in an era where it's like you gotta be a man about it. You can't be crying. Like,
Yeah. That's how my dad is too.
But I mean, I get it. I get it. I really do. And I don't blame him. I mean, he told me too, because we had a conversation, like, that he apologized. He's like, I'm sorry that I was never like the perfect dad. And I looked him in the eyes and said, don't ever apologize to me for that.
Yeah.
You were the perfect dad in my eyes. You did everything you could, not just for me, like for my siblings, for the three of us.
Everybody.
I never realized it, but he actually asked for help without us seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in a life where same as you. We grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
The apartments we lived in was a 1-bedroom, and there's 4 of us. So we had a bunk bed. We had 2 bunk beds, me and my brother, my dad and my sister. Small little room. They would shut the water and electricity off on us, so my dad's best friend, who he unfortunately died or passed away a couple years ago. He took us in, let us
Mhm.
shower, eat at his house. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, but my dad, thinking of those moments, he asked for help. There's other things that I noticed that he asked for help without us realizing, like, he needed help and
Needed
asked for
help.
it.
Yeah.
Um, and also, like, I've also noticed too, like, in my life, there's been a lot of deaths. I had a buddy of mine when we
Mhm.
graduated 8th grade. Um, man, rest in peace to him and his whole family. We had just graduated, pretty
Mm.
much finished 8th grade ceremony,
Yeah.
and we were trying to hang out. We're just kids because we're about to go to high school.
Right.
Like, hey, let's kick it, let's do this. And he's like, nah, I gotta go to this. It was a trip for because they're a religious family, right? So they're taking
Mhm.
a trip down to like a church in Mexico or something. And the last words that I told him were, "I'll see you when you get back."
Yeah.
And he's like, "All
Yeah.
right." And then we found out on the news later that the van that they were in,
Uh-huh.
a semi truck it crossed into their lane,
Yeah.
crashed, and then the van caught on fire. So yeah, they passed. And then there's this other girl that I used to talk to in, elementary, middle school.
Mhm.
Um, is, drunk driving, car split in two, no one survived. She passed. Then another girl that we used to know that went to the same school, she also passed. Um, and then also shout out to the Murphy family. They're the ones who I became really close to when we first moved to San Diego. Um, they're my buddies. He's more like my brother.
Yeah.
Um, their little cousin. I was out in school still. This happened around like 21, 22. It's been a couple years now,
Mhm.
but you know, he was only 15 when he passed. And he passed in San Diego. Um, it was at night when it had happened. From my understanding, it was like a drive-by or something happened, and he just got hit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he didn't make it. He also passed, and he was the first person that I would say that I remember very vividly when I met him. I mean, cool little guy. His name is Brian Romo.
Mhm.
Um,
Rest in
he
peace.
When I had met him, he was a little guy, a little about this big, probably like 5 or something. And he was chunky, so when he walked, I remember him walking like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And when he smiled, I remember his front teeth didn't grow in yet, so you could
Yeah.
only see the side. But when he smiled, bro, I'll tell you, like, he lit up the room.
Yeah. It just
He lit up
touched
the
you.
room, and
Yeah.
his smile made me always smile. And
Yeah.
I always remembered his smile, and like he'd always smile. And the funniest part is when he'd smile, his eyes almost like shut
Uh-huh.
close.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Man, like, the memories I have with him and the family are just, I always remember, and I always keep in my heart. But I remember seeing him again like about 2 or 3 more times, prior to me leaving. Dude was taller than me,
Yeah.
and he was just a little bit bigger than me. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Damn, you're only 15, bro." Like,
Yeah.
damn. And I was looking at him like, I feel like that aunt and uncle that's like, "I remember when you were a baby," type
You're
of
a
thing.
baby. Yeah.
And I remember looking at him, and it's moments like that that make me think about when I was a kid, when I was running around, like how people remembered me,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I remember him. Um, I think he kind of remembered me, because I was talking to my buddy. His name's Steven. He was like, "Hey, my little cousin's here with me too." And I was like, "Oh, where's he at?" He's like, "He's right there. You see him?" And he would point him out, and he'd be like, "Hey, Brian, come here." And then he came over and said hi to him. I was like, and before I said anything, I was like, "Do you remember me?" And he looked at me. He's like, "Yeah, I remember you." And I was like, "Sick." Like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it felt nice, like, you remember
Yeah.
me. Hell yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, he also passed. May he rest in peace. But
Man, rest in peace. Yeah.
um, his family too, man. I mean, that was a tragedy for them, and just seeing how
Mhm.
they just came together, and it was just to this day, like I'm so impressed, and
Mhm.
I have so much respect for them, all of them, because he was important to everybody, right? To
Yeah.
especially to all of them. He was important to me too. He was like my little. I would say he's like my cousin, if not my little brother.
Right.
But I just remember him, and like those memories that I have of him are so vivid, and I think about him a lot because he's someone that I had memories with. And then also, may he rest in peace as well. My uncle, I think he passed away around like October or something.
Mhm.
Um, I would say he's the first family member that I had very good relation, like a really good, friendship relationship, you could
Yeah.
say,
Good bond.
and really good memories with.
Mhm.
And when he passed, man, that was tough. That was also very tough because I was just like, damn, there's no way. Like I haven't seen him in years, and
Mhm.
you know,
It still hit you like
it's
you.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like I've been wanting to see him and
Yeah.
just talk with him,
Right.
and unfortunately, the date came and he passed.
Yeah.
So I just remembered, like my dad sent a message, and then but so the way that happened was my dad sent me a message, and then for some reason I was just thinking about my grandma, right? Because she was taking care. It was my grandma. My One of my aunts was, or I think some of the family. Yeah, some of the family was helping take care of him
Mhm.
because he was really sick.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was like, damn, I wonder how my grandma's doing. And I texted my uncle that was, in TJ with my grandma. So when I texted him, actually I ended up calling him and he answered like very calmly,
Mhm.
but he thought that I already knew. But in reality, I didn't. I
Right.
just was wanting to know how my grandma was.
Mhm.
So I texted him like, "Hey, how's my grandma doing? Like, do you have his number?" And he was like, "Yeah." Shot me the number, and I was like, "Okay." And then I tried calling her, but I could never get a hold of her. Anyways, after I finished doing all that, I noticed that my dad had sent a message, and when I saw that, it was around the time when I was on the phone with my uncle, and he said, "Hey, just to give you guys a heads up, your uncle passed away."
Mm.
And I was like, in my mind, thinking, "What the heck? He passed?" And I was just so shocked, and I was like, I don't know, there's no way.
Right.
Because I was just thinking about my grandma, and I asked my uncle for her number,
Mhm.
and within that time frame, my dad had sent that message, and I was just thinking about it, and I was like, damn, what a coincidence, like, that
Mhm.
happened, and it didn't sink in until one of my cousins called me. Yeah, she was crying. That's when it hit. That's
Yeah.
when it hit hard, and the toughest part about it was we had to figure out who was gonna tell my other cousins because they don't live in Cali right now.
Mhm.
So it was like, who's gonna tell them? And at that time, I was the only one with with their numbers, both of them. And I was like, I guess I have to. I mean, someone's got to tell them,
Right.
and it's better now than later. And that moment was really tough for me because I had to call my cousin and say, "Yo, I love you so much, but I'm sorry I'm saying this to you, but your your dad just is your dad's gone. He passed away."
Mm.
That was the second toughest moment I think in my life, was having to tell my cousin, "Yo, your dad just passed," you know? So I was just I was at work that day and I just got off the phone. This was before I called my cousin. I got off the phone, um, with my other cousin who had called me, and I went to my spot and everyone saw me like, "Everything all right?" I straight up was like, "No, nothing's fine." Grabbed my stuff and was like, "I gotta go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't know, but I
Yeah.
gotta go." And all I remember was him saying like, "Don't worry about it. Take your time. Just call us if you want to come in."
Mhm.
And I was kind of shocked. And I was like, "All right." And I just left. And I realized like even the people that I'm working with realize that they've been through some stuff, and the way they saw me was like, take your time,
Yeah.
don't rush it,
Mm-hmm.
take your time. So I was like, damn, like that makes me think about all the people that are around me and how much support I have. So
Sometimes it's hard to
yeah, it's
really appreciate or understand, that support system.
yeah, exactly.
Like I know, like death is strange, man. Like you said, I've experienced death my whole life, bro,
Yeah.
and a lot of them were, when I was younger. Um, as I got older, it was a lot of people I went to school with,
Mm-hmm.
getting killed or all type of things, man. You just think about it, like, bro, I used to like I know this person, like I I can't imagine what their
Yeah.
family is going through, bro. Like especially young people, man. It's like something I'm still struggling with now. Right a week after my mom, no, let me rewind a little bit. I reconnected with my homegirl from middle school, probably around November. My mom passed in December, right? And we was just catching back up, nothing, not thinking much of it. We haven't seen each other probably since like 10th grade. This is 2021. So that's a pretty long time. It's almost 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So we just catching up and all of that. So fast forward, my mom passed and she was, she was always cool. That was my dog. Like I'm saying that now because she passed away, and I'm gonna tell you like how it affected me. She was just on my head. She was calling me, calling, texting, trying to make sure I'm good because she had talked about coming to see me where I was because she was still in Detroit, whatever. Just all of that, and she constantly hitting me up, and I'm at this time, my mom passed. I don't want to talk to nobody, right? I made a post or whatever, so. And then one day I finally responded and she was like, call me. And I was like, I said I'll call you. I just sent the text. She was like, you said you was, but you still haven't called me. I was like, look, I responded. I was like, look, I don't need this shit right now. She was like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be here for you. I never said nothing back. A week later, I get on Facebook and she passed away.
Mm.
And it's like, damn, like my mom just passed away. And my last interaction with, somebody who I considered a friend, I was being mean to.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's the funny thing about, death because I'm still grieving that too. But I
Yeah.
didn't even have time to really put any energy into it
Yeah.
because my whole world just left me and me just looking back thinking that was my last interaction with that person, I'm just like I'm kind of being aggressive, mean, but not knowing that somebody just want to simply support me.
Yeah.
And to hear that, and I went on Facebook and I'm seeing, because on Facebook it's different from Instagram and all that. It's like Facebook is like people that know you for real. You know what I mean? You got old coaches, teachers on your Facebook, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the news and I'm seeing people and I'm just like, at the time I didn't have no emotions to think about it because I'm like, wow, like she really passed away, like.
Yeah.
And what made me think too, because I planned on calling her and I sent the text message. We had iPhones. I sent the text message to her. It was green. It turned green. You feel me? She ain't had a phone no more. Obviously, I
Mm.
went on Facebook Messenger. I tried to message her. I just thought I don't know what to think at this point. And this is before I found out she passed. I'm kind of recycling a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I send a message, it's green, I don't hear from him. Like I try to call, the phone go to voicemail. I'm like, man, like I got time to call her. Nah, I need this love, I need this support. Look on Facebook a few days later, and she passed. I'm just like, man, it's that right there. Just it taught me to just be more kind to people, bro, because
Yeah.
it's it's a tough world out here, bro, and
Yeah.
death is not easy.
For sure.
Like I still haven't processed that because of the way she passed. I won't say on camera out of respect for the family, whatever. But it's just moments like that. Like we weren't the closest at all. Because we grew up together. going to school, then people part ways, people go to different schools, you get older and shit. But it's a simple fact that she wanted to be there for me and I didn't allow her to.
Yeah.
And I'm still struggling with allowing people to support me because I don't know where the intention is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think about that, like, man, what if somebody really trying and I don't know that because I don't know what that looks like? You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and if something happens, it'll make me feel bad. So now I just, it's another reason why I started this. I started this show because, like, I want to be there for somebody, like, right. And I'm finally learning
Yeah.
to accept help, like, and support
Mm-hmm.
because I would just refuse it. Like, I ain't trust nobody.
Yeah.
Like, nah, you ain't. No, I'm not talking to you. Like, that's just how I thought, for a long time, and it did me more harm than good because I pushed away a lot of good people,
Yeah.
and I can admit that. Like, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people were trying to be there for me. Like, I was just like, I'm angry. I don't know how this looks, so I don't think it's genuine. So I'm gonna X you out. Like, that's just what I was going through. But now looking at it, man, I just try to be more open to support because
Mm-hmm.
although I'm going through something, somebody is going through the same thing as me, and I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
they're handling it. And it just makes me feel good to be there for somebody. It makes me feel good to have this conversation with you, bro,
Yeah.
because now you got a brother in me for life, like outside of baseball. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Same here.
it just puts you in a different perspective. Like, once you go through things like this. So, man, yeah, I definitely appreciate you sharing all of your experience, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine losing my mom at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like, 5 years old, man. That's
Yeah. No one really, it's not something you think about. Like, oh
you
yeah, 5 years
don't
old,
yeah, you don't think
I gotta
about it.
prepare for
Like,
it. No, it's just you learn to just accept it.
mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. Let's keep pushing forward. Obviously, like I mentioned to you when I saw you, it's like you. This is my why I
Yeah.
play the game.
Yeah.
Why I want to be a better person. Why I am the person that I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna make mistakes. Yes, I'm not perfect.
Right.
Um, I mean, I don't really care what people have to say. If you like me, that's cool. Let's go on this journey together, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'll show you, who I really am, and make the decision on your own. Like whether
Right.
you want to be around me and have me in your life, that's cool. I appreciate that,
Yeah.
but I've learned to just be like, all right, if some people just aren't cool with me, that's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't really care
Mm-hmm.
because I already got a lot of people, enough people who I think are my support group,
Yeah.
and I'd
Yeah.
say I would add you to that group too, because
Mm-hmm.
not many people have that experience that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We have a similar situation, right, where we both lost our moms. Yes,
Yep.
when we lost our moms are very different, but at the end of the day, that grief is something that's going to be the
It's the
same.
same.
It's
Yeah.
going to be the
It's the
exact
same.
same. So, I mean, like I said, she's the reason why. I mean, I got the tattoo right here, so I mean,
What's
it's
your mom's
just
name?
uh Victoria. They call her
Victoria.
Vicky.
Vicky.
Yeah. So
Yeah, my mom's name was Vernia, so it started with a V too.
that's
So
crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy.
that's crazy. Yeah,
No way.
her nickname was JoJo. Man, that's shout out to JoJo Nunn, bro. That's why I gravitated towards JoJo when I first
Ah,
met him,
okay,
bro. Like, he don't
JoJo.
even know this. Like, he
Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
this is gonna be his first time seeing this, but when I found out his name was JoJo, I'm like, bro.
That's crazy.
And I'm going through all of this shit. And my mom named JoJo, and this dude is cool as hell. Like, he the coolest dude ever, bro. He's so you just you don't know what
JoJo.
somebody going through, man.
Yeah.
I always kept that in the back of my mind. I'm just like, damn, bro. Like, it's so many signs that just come in when you really need them. Sometimes you ignore them. Sometimes you pay attention, but you try to shy away from them. So it's just like,
I got
yeah.
something I'll ask you that I started asking myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd say around I think when it started college, when I started JUCO, when I
Yeah.
started going to the JUCO,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that from high school, you go to college and it's a whole, you're restarting from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, everybody at that college, you don't know unless you have some friends and whatever that go. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you're starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was just so like in my little bubble. And finally I hit one day where I was like, I'm tired of just being on my own out here in college. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I want to get to know people. I just want to start being so like shy and timid.
Yeah.
And so I asked myself, and I'll ask you this too, is, you know, no matter what happens, like what kind of experience do you want to have? You know, no matter what it is, baseball, your
Mm-hmm.
career, job, you know, with your family, what kind of experience do you want to have? And when I asked myself that at the when I was at JUCO, the community college, I was like, I want to have something that I can remember. That's what I told myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw it. So I was able to meet some counselors there, amazing counselors, amazing friends. Shoot, I was even a part of a group of 10 students that we helped name a program that now I work for
Mm-hmm.
called the Dreamer Resource Center.
Yeah.
And we help give students that are in similar situations like us that are undocumented, you know, we give them resources like we have a, what do you call it? A legal representative,
Yeah.
like a like a lawyer that comes in and talks to people about their status, how can they adjust it.
Right.
We have it on campus, right? I helped name it. It's called Borderless Scholars, and we ended up getting or the school eventually ended up getting a center for the program
Mm.
that I was a part of. That I just got an email from. Hey, shout out to Sade Burrell, man. She was the one that sent an email talking about come to this meeting or whatever, for documented undocumented students. I was like, holy crap, I'm not the only one, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned. And when I showed up, it was 10 of us. We just got together, like, all right, we're gonna create this program to help other students. What should we name it? It came down to 2 names, and we ended up picking Borderless Scholars.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, it just expanded. And then now I'm working at the center for the program that I helped, you know, create
Yeah.
with other students
Yeah.
and with her.
Yeah.
And along that process, or along that journey of the community college, the 3 years that I was there, I met counselors, Raul Rodriguez, um, Amber, name's Amber. I met Christy. She was the athletic, at that time, counselor.
Mm-hmm.
So she would help us with our classes.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on. My current boss, Carla, I mean, amazing. I worked with her previously as a student. Now I'm working with her as, you know, as an alumni. So now I'm a project assistant there.
Yeah.
Um, my my boy now, he was also my boss. He was my first boss, Agustin. You know, these are all. I'm naming these people because they're all my role models, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're people that I saw while I was there, and I just saw the work they were putting in and how they were helping us, and it's just like I want to be like them,
Yeah.
you know. So what do I got to do to get there, type of thing, and you know they would tell me about like some of the mistakes they made, so that way I wouldn't make them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you know, no, I didn't make those same mistakes, but I'm still gonna make mistakes in my life. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna make my own mistakes,
As
right?
your own person.
Because yeah, I am who I am, and I've learned. They also taught me to just be you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be yourself. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
If you fail, get back up and keep going. And I remember I was telling my girlfriend this one day. Like it just came to me, and I just told her. I sent her a text. Was like, um, God leads, I follow. I choose the path. He walks alongside me. And if I fail, he's ready to push me forward. So he's
Mhm.
always around me, type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've stuck with that since I got out here. And my God, I mean, I guess that injury was like a blessing in disguise. Like Big Mike told me, I injured my finger one time, got a surgery.
Big Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike.
Shout out to Mike.
Yeah. Oh no, this is sorry, my bad. Big Mike is the Egan family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
My
thought you
bad, my
talking about
bad.
Mike's son. I'm
No,
like,
no. Shout out to him too,
shout out to
Mike's
him too.
son.
Shout out
Mike's
to the
son
Egan
is
family
cool.
too. But yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
from the Egan family, Big Mike was like looking at me, and I was just so sad. And he's like, "Hey, man, you know, I know you're bummed out. And you want to play. This is my freshman year,
Yeah.
right? And I injured myself during a fall ball game, and it was whatever. But he was like, "Hey, just think of this as a blessing in disguise."
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and in my mind, I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm hurt. I can't
This
play.
can't
Like,
be a blessing.
this is what
Yeah.
I'm here for. Like, now I don't know what's gonna happen, whatever."
Yep.
But again, I was like, "All right, I trust you.
Trust you.
I trust in you." He's like, "Dude, just trust the process, man. It's a blessing in disguise." I'm saying this because maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I just want you to think that way.
Yeah.
I said, "All right," and sure enough, everything went the way it did, and here I am today telling that story. And I hope he hears this and listens or watches this podcast because
he gonna hear
that
it.
guy is he's a baseball guy, and
Yeah.
man, he was always there to my games. Him and Uncle Mike. So it's I met the Egan family during the same time I met Ace.
Okay.
The pitching coach, his name was Mike Egan, but I call him Uncle Mike now because they're the ones who I lived with.
Yeah.
And then his dad's name is also Michael, but call him Big Mike. So yeah, man, like they're the two that I've called up when I need, some clarity, when I need help with something. Like, hey man, like this is where I started to ask for help. Like, hey, I need your help with, situation. Like, this is where I'm at. What do you think? This is what I think. And they'll tell me straight up. Like, they'll give me their like their father advice, but then they'll also give me their, being like the raw advice, like just us two together.
Right.
If we were like friends or something, you know what I mean? Like they'll just tell me straight up. They're like, "It's up to you, to make the decision too." And I'm like, "Damn, you're right." So I appreciate that so much. And, it's just the whole, when I got hurt, he said it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
When I got hurt again, it's a blessing in disguise. And sure enough, it has been, man.
Has been. Yeah.
I've been playing baseball like I don't think I ever have before. I'm having fun again, like we said, like we talked about. I mean, I hit a point where I just, said, screw it. Like, just have fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get frustrated. But at the same time, there's someone's watching. So I got to keep being me, being that person I was raised to be, So it's just so much going on. That's what I'm saying.
So much going on, bro. Much respect to you, bro, because I'm learning a lot from you right now. And I can, I can admit that because like I told you, I've struggled with accepting help, right? I'm always thinking somebody is, making a chess move on me, right? And that's not a good way to think, bro.
Nah, not at all.
It's not at all. And it's okay to need help. And I'm getting a lot of help now, you know what I mean? Especially from someone who's special in my life too right now. So shout out to her. And just hearing you say, you have these figures, you have these people you can call, like, you know what I mean? That's a sign for me, just to keep being willing to accept help. And, I've been doing a much better job at it, but it's still, it's still
in progress. It's always going to be
progress there.
Always going to be in progress.
Yeah, man. Before we wrap up, I want to touch on a few things real quick. Like you say, a blessing in disguise, right? Like I've had the game taken away from me plenty of times, right? I've had, obviously, my mom. Like I've had a lot of things taken away from me, and you spoke on this a little while ago. You said you wouldn't change your life right now because you love your life. Like, and I'm still struggling with that right now. After my mom passed, my life got better.
Right?
As crazy as that sounds, like a lot of things great things happen for me.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this about? Like,
Yeah.
how is this even possible right now? And it just made me think, like you say, it's a blessing in disguise. Like, it happened for a reason. Maybe it
Yeah.
happened so I can have this conversation with you, get the reactions that I'm getting from people. Like,
Yeah.
people being willing and wanting to share their story just because they see me talking. Like, I didn't do it for that, but that's what's coming with the territory,
Exactly.
right? And I'm like, damn, bro. Like, okay, so there's a lot of people, you know, like you say, who we share the same stories, right? I've had people tell me, like, man, my mom, grown people, bro. I'm talking about like older people, like, bro, my mom been dead for 25 years. And I watched your video and it got me through the day. And I'm just like, bro, I'm only 2 years in and I'm still struggling. So, like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's just God's timing. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I think my mom's death really shaped me to finally share my voice with the world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I don't want nothing back from it, right? But
Yeah.
I've always been a talker, even though nobody would never know, right? Because
Yeah.
I've been going through this thing for a few years, right? I just ran my mouth, right? I'm always got something to say. I talked back as a kid.
Yeah.
I was always in trouble in school because I like, this shit don't make sense. I don't want to do it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
just, you know, it's full circle kind of noticing, you know, that it's playing out this way.
Exactly. I'd say though, real quickly too,
Yeah.
like I see a huge difference
Mm-hmm.
since the day I met you.
Yeah.
From that first day to now, I see it.
Mm.
So, you know, you're moving in the right path. So just continue that.
That means
I
a lot,
know,
bro.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
that now that you're, you know, telling, or now that I'm like starting to learn all this too, like it makes sense,
Makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. So I get it. You know, sometimes we wish we would have, you know, would have, could have, should have type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But
Mm-hmm.
like we've said, things happen for a reason. We
Yeah.
gotta let time kind of lets everything unfold.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too is time. Just take time.
Time.
You know.
Yeah.
So it
Time.
doesn't have to be tomorrow. You got to be waking up happy, excited,
Right.
rainbows and
Right.
unicorns type of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna take time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even to this day, I'm struggling. You even saw me, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um,
That's the most important thing.
it's
Time. Like,
crazy. Yeah,
it's,
it's
you know, we often get caught up in the having to be a certain way, healed a certain way, or,
yeah,
you know, the progress has to be at a certain point. But that's not the case, bro. Like, you know, I used
hmm
to have a lot of people in my ear telling me, you know, you need to be doing this. I'm like, bro, no, I don't. Like, don't tell me how to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
don't tell me how to heal from this, especially when you haven't lost anything, you know? And
mm,
that used to be my biggest problem. That's why I don't accept help, going back to that. But, like, that's why I'm
uh,
trying to, because, like, people used to
yeah.
be like, nah, you're not doing enough. And I used to be like, bro, like,
Shut up.
how you gonna
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
me? Like, how you gonna tell me what I'm doing? Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's just, man,
That,
it's just, yeah,
that's the part too where controlling your emotion comes in.
yeah.
Because I had to learn that very quickly too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you, because I had an English teacher. Because one time I was going through it again, right, random,
Yeah.
and I was just so sad in class. She comes up to me, she's like, "What's wrong?" And I looked her in the eyes and said, "You know, just think about my mom."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, everything all right? Like, what happened?" You know, just thinking about her. I just miss her. Um, you know, just thinking about her a lot, and it's just getting to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, did she just recently pass? I was like, nah, she passed away when I was like 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
And her response to that was pretty much, oh.
Like,
And I
it's,
looked her in the eyes and was like, man,
yeah.
I had to walk out of the class because her, at the time, she had like, she had a picture of a horse or whatever, and she raised it from like when it was a baby or whatever,
Yeah.
and then it passed away. So I had to control myself and really bite my tongue and not say anything about that because I was
Cause
gonna say
you
it.
could have said
I could
something.
have said
Yeah.
it, and
Right.
I really I looked at her, and I had to walk. I had to walk. So that's where controlling the emotion comes in. Because yes, we do want to say something, like we want to be quick to respond,
Want to snap, yeah.
but it's a lot better to just bite your tongue, just don't say anything. Because if the moment you start talking with emotion, which is your heart and not your mind,
Can't go back.
something's gonna be said that you cannot take back.
Yeah, you can't go back once that
Exactly.
reaction come in. Like it's done, and that's something I've been working on really hard, bro. Because I was angry.
Hard.
I was angry at a lot of people. Angry for the sole reason of my mom just being gone, bro. And it was easy to just be like, "Are you gonna say this to me? All right, bet I got something for you." You know what I mean? That's that's how it be. But like, yeah, man, that's yeah, man. This whole process, and you know, sometimes I think I'm not doing. Sometimes I think I'm not doing good. But then, like moments like this, bro, it lets me know that I'm moving in the right direction. You know, for this, because man, it could just get real lonely, bro. Because you know, once you shut down, you just shut down, and you know, most people won't understand unless they know what's going on. So it's like it's always hard to just be in the moment at certain times. But now I'm glad I'm getting better at it. Like I said, my mom's death really shaped me into the person I am today. Like, you know, that strength and just being able to talk about it. Like when I released that first episode, like I didn't watch it right away. You know, I told Aaron this too. I was like, I released it, and then a week after is when I finally watched it, because I was like, it was like almost I was scared to face what I was really saying. You know what I mean? So I was just like,
that's crazy. You're saying that. I was just thinking about like, oh, should I watch this today or should I wait till tomorrow to watch this?
Yeah.
Then we'll watch it today.
And then I'm seeing, you know, people react to it, and they, again, like that full circle. People tell me, man, I went through the same thing, or like I know how you feel. Like I really love it. I'm just like, bro, I'm still like behind closed doors. I'm still trying to accept a lot of things. So like it be confusing me, because I'm able to help people, but I don't even know how I'm doing it. You know what I mean? But I do, but I don't. It's like, you know, it's so hard. I wouldn't say it's hard to accept. It's just hard knowing that that I'm struggling, but other people are struggling too. Like a lot worse than me, like a lot worse than you, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's that part that make you feel good about it, man. I want to ask you something. You know, you said that you were, you know, struggling with trying to figure out, you know, who your mom is. Like going forward, like now at this point, how do you think you'll be able to get to that point? And like in this moment, like if you had to say anything to her, like what would it be?
Thank you. Simple.
Yeah.
Just thank you. I mean, to know who she is, I would just have to ask my family, just for you know, what they you know, my dad, my siblings, my cousins, aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
You know, everybody that knew her, just kind of paint a picture for me of who I would think she was, right?
Yeah.
Look back through some pictures, but at the end of the day, man, it's just thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. I got nothing more, nothing less. I just thank you.
Right.
Because no matter what, she's always been there. And you know, I don't care who you are, where you're from, what kind of life you had, but that motherly love is just, it's different. I don't care how tough someone can be.
Man.
Talking about, I never cried in my life. Nah, but the moment, and if they had a mom in their life, I guarantee you, the moment that their mom passes, when they're alone, oh, they're breaking. They're breaking. So, I mean, you know, whoever's watching this, if you got both your parents, man, like, not just saying start today and like all of a sudden tomorrow and like, oh, like loving, just like just think, realize, kind of put yourself in our shoes, what it would be like. Ask yourself, what have my parents done for me
Mm-hmm.
um, up to this point? Yeah, there's days where you're gonna get mad at them, they're gonna piss you off, they're gonna embarrass you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, oh my God, like that's so embarrassing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we've all been through that, but enjoy that. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man.
And,
Appreciate it, bro.
Enjoy that you are still able to have a conversation with them. Say that you love them. Like, I love you,
Mm-hmm.
Mom. I love you, Dad. Because once we get older, we're going to start to realize life is hard. And they were doing things that we can't even do at this age.
Nope.
Right? We're 26, trying to buy a house here in California somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And parents and our uncles were doing it. I mean, yeah, everything's different. I get that whole part, but with the way with society is nowadays,
yeah, man,
it's tough.
It's tough. It
is tough.
It's a different era.
I tip my cap
for sure
to the adults, like parents, grandparents.
They did a lot. They had to do a lot.
I tip my cap to them because holy crap,
they paved the way for us, bro. Like,
yeah, they did.
They the reason you got shit like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so much to go into it, man. Man, again, bro, I definitely appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no,
coming to share your story, bro. It just opened up, it's opened up to me who you are, like more, right? When you first meet somebody through a sport, it takes a while to kind of know like who they are, where they come from, and all that stuff, man. But I'm glad we had this conversation, bro. And like, I'm telling you, bro, like, once everybody that see this, bro, they it's gonna open up a light for them too. Like, they're gonna find out more about you as well, man. And I just want to say I'm glad that you have the support that you have. You giving me hope to know that I could get to that point one day, right?
Yeah.
To be able to simply just pick up the phone and call someone, because I don't have much of that right now, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But just hearing you, just simply share your story, bro, it gives me more strength to continue doing this. So, bro, I thank you for coming on, bro. Like, for real, bro.
Thank you for having me. And if there's anybody out there that I missed, shout out to you. If you know me personally, there's just so many people have been in my life that, damn, like, to make a list would just be endless. But if you know who you are, you know exactly who you are. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
So I'll look in the camera and say, I know exactly who you are. You know exactly who you are. But shout out to you, and more than anything, just thank you. Thank you to everybody. And whoever's watching, thank you for watching and listening. Just to listen that's big. So thank you. That's all I can say is thank you.
Sure, man. I want to take the time too, bro. Man, thank you for everybody who's been supporting me. Anybody who's watching, bro. Like, it's not always, it doesn't seem like I appreciate it much, but I really do. So, I'm still navigating this thing. So, I appreciate all the supporters and, people going through the same things. You definitely, this one definitely about to touch a lot more people too. So,
yeah,
I hope, man, for sure.
I hope so.
We're gonna do this again too. I got something I'm gonna holler at you about. Yeah,
all right,
for sure.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Sure.
I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous today, but I was
like,
let's just do it. Let's do it.